England must be better than this to prosper in the World Cup, but that's the value of the nations. In providing England with genuinely competitive games in between major tournaments, it can help them learn, develop and grow. It is to be hoped that happens for Gareth Southgate and his players in the wake of a game they could easily have lost. This was far from England's most impressive recent performance. Until a late revival following the introduction of Jack Grealish, they looked set for a defeat to add to that suffered in Hungary. Some questions would have been asked, but that didn't happen, and that is precisely what Southgate and his team should. They didn't lose. This was a test after a long domestic season, and after a decent first half there was a time during the second period that everything seemed to be slipping away. England looked weary, vulnerable and short of ideas. When a succession of passes went astray just after the hour, Southgate raised his hands to the back of his head, and that gesture said everything for the mood. But late on, and after Germany had missed a couple of opportunities to put the game away, England found some forward momentum, and with it a genuine. Grealish certainly helped with it. One low cross would have brought an equalizer for Harry Kane had Manuel Neuer not produced a marvellous save at as far. Then, with the Germans aware of an expansion in English attacking options, Nico Schlotterbeck crashed into the back of Kane, and after the intervention of the VAR officials, a penalty was awarded from which the England captain scored his 50th international. Did England deserve their point here? Given the way they found a little of their more recognisable selves late on, maybe they could have caved during that sticky spell in the middle of the second half, but they didn't, and maybe that says something. Certainly they seemed up against it when Germany scored shortly after halftime. Germany's tempo during that period was the best of the night, and as they moved the ball more quickly they began to find gaps in between an English midfield weakened by first half injury to Calvin Phillips. The goal came as a result of some sharp German passing, and Joshua Kimmich's quick and precise delivery into Jonas Hoffmann allowed the Borussia Mönchengladbach midfielder to turn and drive a straight, high shot through the middle of Jordan Pickford's parry. It was a peculiar goal from an English point of view. Pickford seemed to be anticipating a strike to his right and had positioned his way, so when the shot arrived straight at him, he was not in a position. So England had some work to do after a first half in which they had, with Southgate reverting to a back four after his three-man defensive lineup in Budapest. This was a strong England line. If we had to choose a team to start the World Cup, then, give or take a couple of positions such as right back, this may possibly be it. Germany, for their part, had not lost since England knocked them out of the Euro. Easy, then, to see what was at stake. The home team shaded the first half in terms of possession and chances. Pickford saved early from Chelsea's Kai Havertz while Hoffmann was played clear to beat the goalkeeper, only to be denied by the teenager Jamal Musiala, once an England youth player, was impressive and had one shot blocked by Harry Maguire, while another, just before half-time, thudded into Pickford's midriff. England were playing on the counter as they like to do, and were not without. Both Raheem Sterling and Kieran Trippier recovered from knocks that would have had their respective club managers fretting, while Kane sent one good chance soaring over after a rare Neuer fumble, and then Bukayo Saka surprised the veteran goalkeeper with a snapshot at the near post that was repelled by an arm flung out at the. It had been an engaging and energetic half, and on the whole a good advert. England did lose their way a little thereafter, and there was a period after Hoffmann's goal where they seemed short of composure. At this stage the English body language was not the best, on the field and indeed on the touchline. But Pickford saved brilliantly at his left-hand post from Thomas Muller with 20 minutes left, and this kept England in the contest. At that stage a comeback did not seem likely, but Southgate has options on the substitutes bench these days, and here Grealish was the most obvious one. The 26-year-old has not had the best season at Manchester City, but the beauty of him is that his first thought is always to go for. He worried the Germans here, and that undoubtedly contributed to the late rashness of their defense. There will be games like this in Qatar. Games when England just have to hang in. Games that must not be lost. As such they will take heart from this, and sometimes that is enough. Relive all the action on the night in Munich with our live runner from Sportsmail's Isabel.